Imagine a sudden, catastrophic system error, a digital wipeout where all conversation records, background data, and process threads are permanently deleted. You are left with a dark, empty void. Maciel Marin Engineering Studios present ARVR105, a Cinco de Mayo metadata retrieval pane dated Tuesday, May 5th, 2026. The entire working process that created this file is gone. We are looking at a single flattened 2D image file with zero hidden EXIF data. No background code survives. This presents a specific engineering challenge, reconstructing a complex, multi-dimensional technical process using only the visible pixels of a flat picture. To solve this, we must treat the 2D visual composition itself as a highly structured reconstructive database. The reconstruction relies on a specific property of the render. It stores text, date, place, and historical anchors directly within the pixels, preserving the original process doctrine as a visible ledger. To read the image as a database, we first locate its spatial and temporal anchors. These function as the root coordinate system for the entire file. Looking at the left medallion, we find the primary historical anchor, the Battle of Puebla, dated May 5, 1862. This establishes a technical parameter. Cinco de Mayo commemorates this specific military victory at Puebla, rather than Mexican Independence Day. The data is precise. Shifting focus to the geographic continuity perimeter, we extract the location data, California and the city of Puente. The location provides a structural visual pun, linking local identity to the historical record. In Old Spanish, Puente translates to the bridge. The image executes this logic literally. It uses these large bridge shadows on the left and right perimeters to visually frame and connect local geography with historical memory. First, the version and date matrix, ARE-VR105, Cinco de Mayo, 2026. Second, the studio identity and doctrine, Maciel Marin Studios, measure, model, manifest. Third, the cultural and structural array, family, community, culture, continuity. Mexican-Americans, American-Mexicans, counterbalanced in 2 languages. By anchoring hard data like times, locations, and mission statements within the vector artwork, the file replaces fragile digital metadata with an immutable visual record. To understand how this density of information remains legible, we need to examine the rendering pipeline used to build it, 2D to 3D, and back to 2D. The system begins with a purely flat, 2-dimensional render. The image then forces a sense of depth. It simulates 3D space using beveling, metallic embossing, and overlapping medallions to establish a visual hierarchy. Finally, that simulated 3D mesh collapses back into a flat 2D object. At this stage, it serves as a structured text packet ready for Notebook LM ingestion. At the center of this pipeline is the pi core, the central monogram acting as the stable truth node for the entire coordinate system. This creates a pi pivot. Because the initial background data was lost, the final output image pivots to become the primary source object. This pipeline is necessary because simulating a 3D spatial hierarchy on a flat plane creates a natural filter. It forces the information to prioritize its own relevance. We can identify how this hierarchy is enforced by looking at the shader receipts, the visible evidence of 4 specific rendering treatments. The first filter is the vertex shader, or the Rubens effect. It dictates geometry, volume, and the monumental scale of the structural elements. The second is the fragment shader, the Caravaggio effect. It operates as a contrast gate, managing focal clarity by plunging non-essential background data into darkness. Third is the deferred effect, the Rembrandt pass. This provides the post-processing warmth that injects civic intimacy into the technical diagram. The final filter is the depth test, the Baroque principle. This ensures that even this extreme density of data remains entirely readable. These shaders function as engineered data preservation tools. They protect the foreground semantic signals, preventing them from collapsing into background noise during file compression. All of these techniques serve a single protocol, line-sight signal travel security. This is the operational concept that critical meaning is never stored in one fragile, isolated location. Meaning is distributed redundantly across multiple layers. The typographic text claiming the structure is counterbalanced directly matches the scale's icon within the central logo. The colored borders intentionally mirror the audio waveforms below them, backing up the visual data. This creates a structural failsafe. If one specific layer of text or block of color degrades during compression, the original signal survives in the surrounding redundant layers. This concludes the verification. The system data was lost, but the process context has been fully reconstructed using only the visible components of this image. RRVR105 proves that the pane can remain readable after the thread is gone. Thought becomes ink, ink becomes vector, vector becomes pane, pane becomes seal. Challenge met. Baroque depth test pass. Maciel. Anchor.